Good morning, everybody. Natalie coming to you live. Spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. Yum, yum, yum. I'm gonna do some teeth whitening stuff. Next time you see me, I'm gonna be glowing. My teeth are gonna be glowing white. Let's make sure this is working. Hello, hello, hello. Teeth whitening stuff. Oh yeah, it's good. Okay, cool. So, how's everybody enjoying the new year? I don't know. We'll see if people get on here. I would love to hear from you guys and some feedback and what you guys are thinking. I know that people thought, new year, fresh start, everything's going to change. It's going to get crazier. I was prepared for this. And I don't mean to laugh. I know there's a lot of seriousness going in, but there's also a lot of theatrics and a lot of craziness and a lot of who knows what the heck going on, right? To the point where it's getting so ridiculous that it's almost impossible not to see the craziness, right? That humanity or human beings have created in this world. Good morning, OJ28. For those of you on Facebook, please say good morning. It is not showing me your comments. It is also not showing me who's on here. And it's quite frustrating because I love to say good morning to my people. So please just type in good morning. It's very helpful for me. But yes, the start to the new year. Now, OJ, I want to ask you a question. Are you in the US? I want to know the people so if you're not in the US, okay, what do you think about what's going on in the US? What kind of, I wish you could call in, but you can't because I do a Facebook Live at the same time and they wouldn't be able to hear you. But if you could type something, where are you from, first of all? And what are you thinking about what the theatrics you see happening here in our country? Because I'll tell you what, all I see is a bunch of crazy. So the people that get harmed, of course, and hurt and who have passed away from this craziness, I give my love and prayers to the families and to them and all that. Now, the other individuals who are still alive and acting like crazy, they're acting like 5-year-old temper tantrums. It's quite a show. And I'm going like, what is going on? Well, I know what's going on. What's going on is that there is a new transformation. We're in a new era. And the people that cannot accept or step into this new era are having difficulty. Also, OJ, are there things happening in your country, your city, your state, wherever you reside that are crazy that you're just like, what the heck? Or are things running smoothly? I will say that here in the US, things are going to get crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. And I saw this meme, that says, oh, we're the greatest and this and that we need to, humble ourselves. And I agree with that. When I think about civilizations like India, I have a lot of friends in India. I've been talking to my Indian friends quite a bit lately. And in India, it's such an old culture. I mean, it's ancient. And there's so many, the United States coming together as a country is very new. We're acting like a bunch of teenage brats, is what I see. So, but if you think about these older civilizations, I'm not saying that they don't have their problems, but it seems that there's this essence of wisdom in a way that I don't perhaps think that America has totally grasped onto at this point. The wisdom that comes with being able to live within a structure or system that has been designed. So democracy, capitalism, all of this stuff has really caused a lot of craziness, especially for those who are sore losers. And so we've created sort of this us versus them, win versus lose, right? It's winning and losing right now. And that's what it is. They're sore losers. People don't want to lose. They don't want to, just bow out and say, look, that's life. That's life. And that's the way it is. So an interesting time that we're in. I know that everybody thought, oh, New Year, it's going to be awesome. No, this year is going to be even crazier. And here's why. We are in a 5-year. 5-year is a chaos, right? It's chaos. Well, 5 represents chaos. And we need the chaos in order to find order. So at the same token, right? At the same token that we are seeing chaos, we ourselves can be the calm in the storm and start to set those foundations, start to set our laws and our principles, what we will not compromise and what we will compromise, those things. And I had stated this before. So it's really just looking at that, really internally asking yourself, what are my principles? What are my morals? What will I not compromise? What will I compromise? What do I want to, so nope, nothing going on there. Is that what you're saying nope to? Oh, I'm sorry. You said no, that you're not in the US. That's right. I don't know if you're still on here, OJ. Definitely would love to hear your insight, even know where you're from, but I don't think you're on here anymore. But if you are, awesome, share, please. If not, it's okay. No worries. So we're off to a crazy start. Now, what can we do? And that's why I was going through again the healing through dark emotions, the pain and the grief, the wisdom, the grief and the despair, fear and despair, with the Miriam Greenspan, or the book of Miriam Greenspan. And the reason why is because the dark emotions will surface. We're still going to see people that want to separate, or see it's us versus them, when it's not. It's us versus us. We get clear about our internal battles, right? And once we're clear about what's happening internally, we can then transmute the energy into love, regardless of who it is. So even if you have these people, at the Capitol that are, people are crazy, they're finding reasons, of course, to point the finger at somebody, to be upset with somebody. We always need a villain, right? It's always good to have a villain so that we can not look at our own internal demons that live within us, because it's easier to point a finger rather than looking at ourselves. So it's like, let he who live without sin cast the first stone. And then everybody goes, oh, that's right. I too have missed the mark. I too have gone a little bit crazy. I too have done things that were maybe not socially acceptable or socially okay. So maybe I should look at myself. Maybe I should look at what I'm doing. What am I up to? What am I creating? What am I not creating? How am I adding to the dialogue? How am I not adding to the dialogue? So it becomes you being the driver of you, really reflecting upon how you are participating in this whole scenario. How are you participating? Now, I myself went through a whole slew of emotional states of being as well. I didn't just say, oh, this is acceptable, right? I went through a bunch of different things when this pandemic happened, and I had my own opinions and my own way of engaging it, right? And I allowed myself to go through it, and people didn't agree. And of course they didn't, because we have opposite spectrums. But now I've learned to exist in it in harmony without making anyone wrong, and still having my point of view, but not making people feel like they're wrong for having theirs, and not trying to force people into what I believe. Rather saying, hey, you have your own mind and your own thinking. Critical thinking takes you being able to find your authentic truth. What's true for you based on the observation of the world around you? What becomes your reality? What becomes your truth? So, people will say, well, the science, but science doesn't tell the whole picture. It's only a fragmented part of the picture. There's still emotional states of being and other individuals that are participating in it. So as we participate together, it's looking at those things and saying, hey, where do I stand on this? What is serving me, right? At the end of the day, is it serving me? Is it not serving me? So it's really having a good look at that, right? Now, one thing that it's kind of funny, and there's these cues, because, I'll do Spirit and Coffee, and sometimes there's one viewer, two viewers, it's not like I have a trillion billion followers, right? But I started to look at it and I say, okay, well, let's see. But I kind of know, because for me, Spirit and Coffee, again, and I've said it from the beginning, it's about God. It's not about me, a popularity contest, not about feeding the ego. It does support me and my ego in some ways, right? It helps me to process thoughts. It helps me to communicate and get things out. There's a lot of good and benefit that comes to me from doing these live videos, and I've been doing them for a very long time, and it does help feed my soul in a healthy way. Okay, so there is that, but also I take a look at the energy that gets extracted and how the energy comes back. So if nobody's on here and I'm talking, then I know that message was particularly for me. Okay, Natalie, that's something that you need to look into for yourself. Maybe individuals aren't ready for that conversation. Maybe people don't care about that conversation. Maybe it's a conversation that you need to have privately with God, whatever it is, right? But the one thing that I noticed, and I've been noticing, is that when I talk about Moses, for some reason, there seems to be a spike in energy and consciousness. People seem to join the divine will, the staff. And when I start to talk about the staff, right, the staff that we hold in, standing firm, like when Moses had his staff, and when he went up to Mount Sinai, and I believe it's Mount Sinai, if I'm incorrect, please, I'm not a scholar of the Bible. I do know Bible stories, but I'm not a scholar of the Bible. But I know that he went up to the mountain and he received instructions from God. And the instructions were the law of the land. And right now, that's what's being compromised, right? The law of the land has been compromised. And so because of that, it is, what are the laws? What is the law? Internally for you, right? What's happening right now is it's showing you, it's being revealed on the external, that what is law? Law is something that we create. If we went into what law really is and we looked at nature, nature has its own laws that it lives by, and that's God's law. Now, we as humans have created our own form of law, based on observation, based on control, based on what we want to see in society. Now, we are going back to look at that, right? There's a message. It's saying the administration, the way the laws of the land has been upheld, is blasphemy. It's not working. It's not good. It's grounded in corruption. It didn't start right. It started in bloodshed. It started in taking land from other people. It started in, putting people and imprisoning them, taking away their rites of passage, taking away their rituals, taking away the very fabric of who they are. The lands were taken in blood and taken in vain. Okay. So the United States of America didn't get founded in beauty and harmony. People didn't just harmonize into the United States of America. There was a lot of bloodshed, and there was a lot of names taken. And now the land of the law of the land, was created by the very individuals who did that. So when we look at that, right, when we go back into history and we understand that these laws that were created, were they the laws of Moses? Were they the laws of God? To whom gave them the right to give them the law? To whom gave them the right to say this is the way things should be? Was it God? Was it divine? Or was it grounded in ego and own self-interest? So we're questioning the very fabric. People want to stand on America's great and all this stuff. But the reality is, let's really go back in history and let's look at it. Let's really be honest if we want to look at the truth. What laws are we trying to uphold? Are they even righteous? Are they even good? Who created them? Why did they create them? What was the intended purpose in the beginning anyway? Were they for you? Were they for your family? Were they for the greater good? Or were they to serve the purpose of a few individuals who wanted control, who wanted to overtake or overthrow or whatever it was? And now we're questioning the laws. I told you guys, and I'm going to continue to tell you, and I'm going to say it firmly. Right now, we are in a spiritual battle. The battle is what are your laws? What are your spiritual principles and practices? Stop looking to a government to create the law. Look to God. Look to nature. Look at the laws of the land. The laws of the land. If I take and receive, then I give and I receive. And those are the laws, right? That we don't take more than we need. We've become so consumed by what? Material? All of us. And I include myself in that, right? Because I have been raised in a consumer society. I don't know how to live out of a society like this. Do I want to? Well, heck yeah, I would go back to living off the laws of the land. But we're looking to a government to give us a law. Why? This is a year for us to create our laws, to stand with our staff and to be like Moses, right? Let our people go. Think about the Native American people who were ripped from their land and ripped from their rites of passage. And they had to hide their own rituals in a religion that they didn't even know, that it was forced upon them. But yet they stand with their staff and they say, you will not overthrow this land. You will not come and take this water. I will protect this water, because they're standing with their staff. They understand natural law. They're living off the lands of the law of the land. They don't need a government to tell them that. They get what's important. That we as humans don't understand how to coexist in nature. We want to coexist in our materialistic crap that we've created, myself included, because it's hard, because it's been constructed this way. But is it truly reality? So get back to your laws and your principles. What will you compromise and what won't you compromise? What are your spiritual practices? Where is your staff? Do you have a staff to stand on? When you receive that staff and God gives you that staff and you stand with your divine will and your mighty staff and you don't compromise in principle or spiritual integrity, God will clear a path for you. The path that's cleared for you will open up. There's a pathway, a passageway for you. And I can tell you right now that this energy is spot on, because every time I talk about Moses, people show up to the podcast. People start to show up. The energy starts to open up. People start to listen. So if you are a follower of Christ or not, read the Bible anyway and find out what Moses had to offer. What did he have to offer in the stories that were told about him? Good morning, Patrick. Right? I don't call myself a Christian. I don't call myself a Buddhist. I am a spiritual alchemist. I look at the stories that have been given to us, the stories across different religious spectrums, the stories that have been handed down by native traditions, and I look at them and I say, what is the commonality? What is the lesson being taught? What are we being taught? What are we being told? And there's a common thread between it all. Good morning, Nicole. Thank you for saying good morning. For some reason, Moses keeps coming up. And as I talk about Moses, people show up. And when I talk about divine will and holding your staff and creating your spiritual laws, people start to show up. Now we're seeing, and I said we will see this. We're going to see this, you guys. This is not prophecy. It's called patterns. To recognize the pattern in spiritual alchemy sort of makes you a prophet. You're really not a prophet. You just understand the alchemic process, and it happens externally and internally. Externally, we're in a 5-year. A 5-year tells us that we are looking at our spiritual laws, our practices, and that chaos exists, and that we have to devour old systems and create new systems. That's not going to come from a government. That's not going to come from some ivory tower person telling us what to do. That is going to come from you. How do you live in your family? How are you holding and maintaining your family structure? What laws and principles do you have? Have you wavered in those principles and those laws? I can tell you right now, my niece who lives with us doesn't like rules. Those rules were put in place for a purpose. Spiritual purpose, not a purpose of punishment, but of righteousness. To do minimal harm. We're going to do harm no matter what we do. That's part of life, but minimal harm, right? When we eat food, we're killing. If you eat meat, you're killing an animal. That can do harm. You're putting harm on another thing so that you can survive. Or if you walk the earth and step on something by accident and kill it, that's harm. Okay, so we do these harm things that are not intended, or they're there for our survival, and we don't do them because we want to hurt. It's righteous. It's in right passage, not to go out and do it for fun and sport, right? Some people do. I'm not saying people don't. But when we look at our own family, why do we have the rules that we have? Like, why do I tell my niece that she needs to prioritize and, do certain things before she goes out and has fun? Because tending to the house is probably the most important thing you can do. Your sacred space, cleanliness, organization is critical for success in order to live in godliness. It takes away the clutter. It takes away the overwhelm. It takes away the stress. It takes away the disease, dis-ease, right? For righteousness, what are your practices and principles? What laws do you have within your own self, your own embodiment? Do you even know what those are? This is where we're at. Wake up, people. Please wake up, because it's only going to get crazier. People wanted to go back. It's not going back. It's not going to go back. It's already been set in motion. When something's set in motion, it's like the waves of a particle. When we look at quantum physics, right? And the particle waves go out. And then when the particle waves go out, it's like, oh, if we observe this is what's going to happen. And then it collapses the wave function. And then that starts to happen. It's already happened. It's already in motion. We're already focused on the crazy. It's already been a wave pattern and we've already focused on it. And now that's where we're headed. Not a bad thing. It's only going to be bad if you don't understand how to set your spiritual laws up. Bad, why? Because you're going to experience more suffering than necessary. You don't have to experience all the suffering that some of these people are. They don't want to let go of the old ways. They don't want to let go of what was. It's gone. It's not coming back. There was a lot of old administration happening under Trump's administration. There was a lot of old ways of thinking. And that old way of thinking can no longer exist because we're in a new era. But they're holding on, they're gripping onto. They don't want to let go of the power and the control. They're afraid of what would happen if that happened. What would happen? Would that mean that everything that I have is now not mine? It never was to begin with. Okay, so we're going to see more crazy. So good luck. But be Moses. Go read about Moses. I will read about Moses in the Bible and talk more into it, because apparently Moses is our reminder this time around. It seems like, it feels like. I've talked about Buddha quite a bit, the suffering. And I think that was last year, and, Jesus. But this year it's like, it's Moses. Moses was what I think the epitome of the law of the land. He was the one who held the structure of the law of the land and didn't compromise or waver in it, right? And so I'm not saying that all of his laws were perfect. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he held a law. He got instruction, right? They say from God. He came down, and when everybody was trying to hold on to, they went back, they did the golden cow, and he said, he put his staff down and said, no, we are no longer doing that. This is the law. This is God's law. So you get to be that. You get to be that pillar of, I'm grounded in who I am and what my spiritual laws are, and I will not waver. So don't ask me to compromise. See? And the truth shall set us free and be revealed. So go out and figure out what your spiritual laws are, okay? Because things will get crazy, people. And wake up. 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 Please. We need people waking up out of their coffins. The resurrection. Rise. We need people to rise out of their coffins. Okay? Rise out of your coffins and start to create your spiritual laws. Stand with your staff. And by that, the Almighty God will be with you to clear passage for you. And have faith. Gotta have faith for that, okay? So there you have it. I hope this was helpful. I guess Moses is the key to all this right now. He's one of the keys. We have a bunch of keys, right? This is a key to open the door. So use that key, all right? So I love you guys. Have a fantastical day. Cheers to you. Good luck to you in the new year. I can tell you right now, I have a lot of oh, hey, PBJ, I didn't even know you were on here. Hannah, a lot of blessings and a lot of crazy going on in my life. But you know what? I'm the calm in the storm because I have my spiritual practices and principles in place. They're there, and I'm not going to waver. There's no negotiation here, okay? So go out and find your spiritual law, stand firm, and you guys, I guarantee, will get through this year like a breeze. Other people might be struggling, and they're going to be struggling until they realize why, okay? Stop looking at your government. Stop looking at people. Stop. Have that intimate conversation with God alone, and God will give you the answers, okay? All right, so love you guys. Have a great day. I will be seeing you next week. Have a funky, fun, fantastic, fabulous, phenomenal Friday, and I will be seeing y'all Monday. Bye-bye.